Kingdom.
A mother is a woman in relation to her child or children. Noun. Verb, to bring up a child with care and affection, or to give birth to. Now it sounds so subtle because it's like 6 in the morning. I ain't trying to wake anybody up, but that is, for all intents and purposes, the definition of what a mother is. A mother is not only caring, but affectionate, loving, and above all else, there when needed. Granted, this is not always the case in this day and age, or has it hardly ever been the case. But we're going to kick off episode 8, part 2, with a few pointers on motherhood. Now, granted, I am a man, so I cannot explain deeply what motherhood is, but what we're going to be describing today is the things that mothers do, things that mothers say, and going to be breaking down what it looks like to be, I don't know, I want to say a good mother, but that's still a vague concept. So we're going to talk about, the main points we're going to talk about today are what it takes, let's say what it takes to be considered a good mother by society standards. We're going to talk about the overbearing and destructive standards that are put on to black mothers to raise their black children. And we're also going to talk about the detrimental effects of not having a father in some instances, or for all intents and purposes, even going to talk about having a mother who's not necessarily a good one, if that makes sense. And it's still, that is not a definite thing. It's not like a definitive, pinpoint, accurate ideal, but it's something that does need to be talked about. Anyway, I am your host, the Black Little Mac, and if you really like these type of conversations, we're going to continue on with this next week for part 3. But if you love this type of content, go ahead and give your boy a subscription. Hit that like button, comment, share, do whatever you need to do. Just let me know you keep fucking with this type of content. So without further ado, let's get right into it. All right, first and foremost, as I said earlier, a mother is one who gives affection and care. Uh, Another topic I'm going to talk about is the difference between a mother and a father, so we're going to get into that first. So, and since it is Women's Month, Women's History Month, we're going to kind of break down what it means. So, to be a mother is to be caring caring and affectionate, which with all regards, that's pretty much how women are. They're caring, they're affectionate, they're loving, they're more emotional than men can be. Men could be, fathers could be capable of emotion, but they tend to hide it because they don't know how to control said emotions, while women have an excellent control of their emotions. They know when to release them, they know when to hold them in, they know when to let things go, they know when to hold things together. There's a whole lot of things that a woman can do that a man cannot. And in regards of a mother, mothers have like the hardest job in parenting. And if you don't believe me, just kind of break it down. So a mother has to carry a child for 9 months, or children, depending on how many they have, for 9 months. 9 months of sickness, 9 months of pain, stress, frustration, pretty much anything you could possibly think of. Their body's going through changes, their equilibrium is off, they're literally expanding their physique, not willingly, but metamorphically. They're expanding their physique just to push out this child, this whole nother human being, while also nurturing it, caring for it, and everything in between. So that's what they have to do as mothers, because they're built for that. Right? So you could compare that to like a father who's, not going to have to carry it for 9 months, but could be there for the full 9 months. And you can say you get the same result, but you really don't. But I digress. But to accurately portray a mother, you would have to break it down into so many different parts, because there's like so many levels of motherhood. So in that regard, we're here to talk about motherhood in the Black community and how impactful it is. Breaking down what a Black mother has to go through for their children, what they have to put up with for their children, what they have to do for their children on the good side. Then we're going to explain the bad side of it all, because there's not all the time is it the case that a mother, for all intents and purposes, is actually good, to say, for lack of better words, good in quotations. So some of you have to really break down. So a mother in the Black communities are very, very, very underrated, in all honesty. So, and when I say underrated, I mean really underrated, because you could have a instance where you're a mother of 3, father left, and you have 3 boys, for instance, 3 boys. So now you have to raise these 3 boys by yourself. They have no male role model. They're looking up to each other for like any type of comfort from a man, and you just don't know what to do, because they're boys. They're rambunctious. They're rowdy. They're not like young girls. Young girls are not as rowdy at first. They get a little rowdy sometimes, but it's like a different level of rowdiness. But for a boy trying to become a man, it's very hard for a woman to show that young boy that, because you realistically can't. And it's not knocking, because women do this like all the time, but you just can't accurately show this boy how to be a man. You can show him what it means to be a man partially, maybe, sorta, but past that, there's nothing much you can do. There's nothing accurately that you can do as a woman to show this young boy what it is to be a young Black man, or a Black man in general. What you can do is you could try your best, and that's what mother's always good at trying her best. You know how many times that a mother has had to scrap together whatever was in the kitchen just to make sure that the kids ate, or put their needs above the children needs above her own, or even on top of that, just having a a disingenuous conversation with a random person just to get by. And it's not even like a conversation, but interaction just to get by. Like, there's a lot of things that mothers do, and they get a lot of shit for it. Case in point, if you're a single mother, you are on the shit end of the stick, because if you don't have control, quote unquote, of your child, then they're going to blame you because that's your fault. You should have had better control of your child. Never mind that you work 3 to 4 days, 12-hour shifts, come home, have to cook, clean, help with homework, and everything in between. No, forget that. That doesn't matter. On top of that, keeping up with their doctor's appointments, keeping up with sick days, keeping them out of trouble, make sure they actually exert their energy in a positive way. Just forget all that. When things go bad in a child's life and it's a single mother, it's her fault. But when things go right, it's her doing good. Oh, there you go. You don't need no man. It's so empowering. But that in and of itself is a double-edged sword. While you can say that some, women are good maternal figures, that's not the case with all of them. So, as there's bad fathers and bad men, there's also bad women and bad mothers. So, we need to talk about these things, especially in the black community, because we so often just let it slide as if it's like okay. It's not okay. Let's just be honest. It's not okay. In the black community, we have so many instances where a mother would rather talk to a whole nigga instead of being there for her child or children or whatever have you. And that's not okay. We do not talk about this because we only want to see the good in it, or we want to make it like it's a good effort. No. If I were to do the same thing with any of my 3 children and put their needs behind that of a woman, I'm instantly in the wrong. Instantly, not even questioning it. Instantly in the wrong. But a woman can do the same thing with a man or a woman, and then that's okay? No. That is not okay, and it's not going to be stood for anymore. You cannot sit there and tell me that you yourself are ready to be a parent at such a young age. Some women are. I'm gonna say that. Some women are. But some women aren't. As I said before, some women aren't. Far too often in the black community, we have a mother who, and it is worse with daughters. Like, women who have daughters strongly advise to connect with your daughter on a deeper emotional and psychological level, because you are not them and they are not you. They walk this world. They walk through this earth doing things differently from you. They're influenced by you, but they're not you. You get me? So when you move around and you see them doing things, and you see them doing this, and you see them doing that, and you kind of go on and on about it, you shouldn't necessarily probably condemn them for it, but you should at least embrace it, or at least try to show them a different way and put it in a different light so that they can understand what you may be saying, what you're trying to convene to them. No. Instead, you have a daughter, and most of the time, and just kind of be honest, they have an older daughter. They have like 3 children. They have an older daughter and maybe a son in the middle, younger daughter. An older daughter has to take care of the other children. And what does that do? That does nothing but breed like teenage motherhood. Like, you have a 15-year-old girl who's been taking care of her younger brother and sister since the age of 12 or 13. As soon as she hit puberty, she doesn't know what's going on. So I mean, in all honesty, she doesn't know what's going on. Her mother's not really helping, and it could be a wide variety of different reasons why this is the case. It could be she's working, so she's trying to help her mother. So there's again two sides to every story. I'm gonna just say that off bat. So the mother could be working a lot. She cannot have much time with the kids, and she's helping her mother out. So for that instance, I'm going to take that out, and we're going to talk about that in a minute. But the instance I'm talking about is a mother who is on welfare, for one, and that's not even a problem at all, or is utilizing the system in some way, shape, or form with these 3 children. And she doesn't really, it doesn't seem like she cares about them. She's just there. And that's a really big problem, because not everybody that pushes out a baby is considered a woman or a mother. What do you mean? Because you pushed out a baby? Oh, I'm a mother. I'm your mother. You should respect me. I mean, I understand that you should, and for all intents and purposes, you should respect your mother, no matter who she is. But it does not mean that your mother may or may not be a piece of shit. What does that mean? What does it mean to me that you pushed me out of your vagina? Okay, cool. But what have you done past that? You've literally bred me and raised me to be another you. And now that I've become that, it's a problem, it's an issue. Oh, sure, whatever. But back on topic, you have this instance where let's say on the flip side, because there's one side where the mother who just can't physically be there because she's working a lot and everything in between. But then on the flip side of that, you have a mother who really doesn't give a fuck. So therefore, she just pushes all this pressure onto her young, like 13, 14-year-old daughter to take care of, watch, and practically raise 2 children that she just had herself. And then 2 to 3 to maybe 4 years later, when this child's 18, between the ages of like 16 and 18, you now have this young child basically going out and saying, hey, fuck it, I'll raise my brothers and sisters. I might as well have my own kid. Because why not? My mama made me raise her kids, so I might as well be raising my own. See, that's where the problem ensues at, because now you have this detrimental cycle of a young mother having a child at a young age and breeding and raising that child to be a mother at a young age. So now this child has a baby at 15 or 16, and now let's start the cycle over again, because she's about to do the same exact thing, and it does not help. So a lot of time people say that, you know, if a child doesn't have a father, it's really detrimental. Yeah, that is true. But at the same time, what is there to look forward to if your mother is equally as worse, or even sometimes worse, like equally as bad or worse than your father potentially could have been? I mean, let's just be honest. Let's tell the honest truth here. Like, I love black women as much as the next guy, but I'm not going to condone the silly bullshit that happens, the silly bullshit that I see on a day-to-day basis, the silly bullshit that I randomly hear, and does not apply to every woman. All right, does not apply to every mother. All right. So I don't want nobody getting offended. I don't want nobody mishearing what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that there are bad mothers as an equal amount as there is bad fathers. And that's a fact. That's a pure fact. You don't see it, you don't hear it, but you know they're there. It is easy for us as a community to blame a black man, a black father, for not being in his child's life, and that's the reason why this child came out the way he did, or grew up the way he did. But we don't blame the mother for doing the same thing. And I know what probably some of y'all gonna say. Well, Mac, what are you talking about, man? Is the mother, they have to do so much. They have to do this, and they have to push the baby out for 9 months. I mean, not push the baby out for 9 months. They have to carry the baby for 9 months, and it's a little embryo, and it grows, and they get to know him, and da-da-da, and da-da-da, and da-da-da, and all this other bullshit that I already know. Again, I have three children. I've been there. I've done that 3 times. 27 months of my life, 27 months of their mother's life is gone towards that. But at the same time, it's not all the time that makes you like a mother. Like, just because you have a child does not make you a mother. A mother is someone who's like compassionate, that cares, that does whatever it takes. Not someone who just says, "Oh, I had a kid, therefore I should be respected as a mother," and all this other hoopla and all this other stupid shit. And then there's even backtracking towards that. Their mother may have not even done much to raise them. So you can't really expect them as a person to even know how to fathom where this child is going. What direction this child is going. They have no clear direction of where they want this child to go because they have no clear direction themselves. You cannot raise a child if you would never raise yourself. I'm going to say it again because I don't know. You cannot raise a child if you have not been raised properly yourself. That's it. That's this case point. That's it. Cut off. And that applies for men too. Like, it may seem like I'm just getting on women for the lack of and blah blah blah, and women, whatever. As a man, as a black man, I have a right to bring these topics up because this is topics that need to be talked about. We can sit here all day. We can sit here and laugh and talk and pretty much bullshit around the topic. We can tap dance on the tonsils of this topic all that we want to, but at the end of the motherfucking day, this is something that needs to be talked about. We don't need to dance around this topic because it's easily offensive to some women and easily could be misinterpreted. No, fuck that shit. If you really want to be honest, we need to talk about shit like this because we're very comfortable with talking and destroying the black man just for general purposes. A nigga could do something random, boom, just destroy his ass. Fuck the rest of that shit. And when a woman does it, it's wrong to criticize her for it. It's wrong to call her out, try to help her do better, I guess. But whatever. Now to kind of move away from the negative side, you do have those instances where it doesn't happen like that. You have women that were raised quote unquote properly, because that is still a society bent term, so you really don't know the true definition of that, because there's no proper way to raise a child. It's just pretty much touch and go shit. If we had a book on how to raise children, that would be marvelous, but you don't. Each child is different. Each case is different. But on the flip side of that, you have mothers who will do anything for their child, and it's just because they've held this child for 9 months inside of them, and now that it's here, they'll do anything to protect said child. It's like a maternal instinct that comes alive once you have a child that you just automatically go through. So that's just something that we have to accept as well. That is the good side of it, and that is how it is. And I account for these mothers who have no father in their life, or who've had no father in their life, or maybe even had a father in their life, and now that the father of their children is not there, they're carrying on this legacy of like a single black mother that's out here doing everything that they can. They're trying to get their children to do better in school. They're pushing their children as hard as they physically can, and they're giving them as much support as possible. But those instances aren't really highlighted. Sometimes it is, other times it's not. And when the young man, the young woman makes it big, then they help their mama out and whoop-de-woo. Yeah, it's highlighted at that point. But it's throughout their entire lifetime. What's happening? Nothing. I mean, it's like we recognize it sometimes, but we maybe choose to look at the faults and not the good. We look at the bad but not the good. We will just see, oh, well, she's a single mother. Those kids are gonna be fucked up. Or the biggest fucking lie that you could ever say, oh, she's raising 3 boys as a mother. Oh yeah, one of them's gonna be gay. what does, and this is something I'm gonna just say offside, is not even a part of this conversation, but what does a woman raising 3 boys or maybe 4 boys, or raising a boy in general, have to do with sexuality? I just want some people to answer that question in the comments below. What does that have to do with anything? I'm sorry, it doesn't. Back on topic. So that's generally what it means. You know what I'm saying? Like, for every quote unquote good mother, the mother who does outstanding work for their children, the mother who works 9 to 5, comes home, cooks, cleans, helps their kids with their homework, puts them to bed, makes sure they take a shower, make sure that they do this, make sure that they do that, keeps the household down, making sure that these little motherfuckers eating on a day-to-day basis, make sure that everybody's lunch is packed in the morning time, everybody has dinner when they get home from lunch, and a wide variety of different things. Shit, it's just how it is. And then there's on the flip side, there's women and mothers who don't do any of that. They just kind of say, fuck it, I had you, I don't have to do anything else for you. You should be able to do this shit yourself. You should be able to cook, clean, and I mean, while I would agree, at some point as a person, and whenever your lifespan, you do have to learn how to do these things yourself, but you shouldn't slowly have to contribute to your own survival that early in life. So there's mothers like that, and not necessarily saying that they're bad. They're bad by my standards, I guess, but everybody has different standards. So I really can't just definitively give you an answer to say what's a bad mother and what's a good mother, because some people will see that as like a good turn of events, and in the black community, that's, I guess, of redeeming quality, as you have a alcoholic, fucking weeded out mother that I guess is good, but whatever. And that's pretty much that rounds up that portion of the conversation. Now something that really, and this is something that I'm just gonna add on to it, is like an improv to little it's like an improv to marquee portion of this conversation, but I feel like lesbian mothers don't get like same-sex couples don't get the same recognition for parenting that opposite sex couples do. And I'll say it, especially in the black community. So for all intents and purposes, I've said this like the entire podcast, because it's like I need y'all to really understand what I'm saying. For all intents and purposes, what we're gonna do is break down what it means again to be a mother, because your sexuality does not deem you not qualified to be a mother. Because you're a lesbian and that you like women does not mean that you're incapable of raising a child. Like, same-sex couples go through the same struggles with children, marriage, and everything else as heterosexual couples. And like, we're all in the same boat here. But to break down like what it is to kind of be like, I guess, parenting in that sense. I haven't seen this too much, but I do have a cousin who is with a young lady who has a child, and then I just kind of see this child, and she's grown up properly by, I guess, my standards, and by older generational standards. She's grown up properly. She was raised right. She was raised in a respectful manner, and she does a lot in the right way, I guess. On the flip side, some people see this as wrong. It's like, why is this woman with another woman raising a daughter that's gonna teach this daughter to like women when she gets older, and then all this other crazy shit, which is further from the truth than you could possibly ever be. But they just get a lot of shit, because then you have the law who says that biologically one of you is the mother, so that means one of you technically is, for everything, the mother who goes down if something goes wrong with the child who's there. There's a contact for the child and all these other things, but then you can't put into context that this person who's been with this young lady for all these years, who's been there for this child, who's been there in like this motherly role, or sometimes even with the studs is like a somewhat of a fatherly role, because they kind of give off that male energy, that high testosterone levels on just throughout that. So like, I just seen, for me, I feel like it's kind of hypocritical that the law states that a biological mother is the only person that really matters in a child's life in regards to a same-sex couple, when this other person, her partner, has been there for this child their entire life, or maybe even just got into this child's life, and they vibing with them, they love them as much as their biological mother does, but they don't have the same rights. I mean, to be honest, it's like the shit end of the stick. And it still goes back to my point earlier, like, in this, where there's good, there's bad. There's my cousin and her girlfriend, or fiance. I think I don't know if they got married yet, but fiance. For as far as I know, we don't like communicate that much. I be busy, she be busy, so it'd be like one of them things. But they are like examples of like good parents, quote unquote, because they'll do anything for this little girl. And my cousin hasn't even known this little girl for that long. Her partner's daughter for that long, but she would do anything for her. But the laws are kind of skewed in the way it's like, oh, well, you're not the paternal or maternal. Like, biologically, she's not yours, so you get like no rights and blah 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 and all this other dumb shit. And I'm like, okay, it's whatever. And even then, like, lesbian mothers still get like a shit end of a stick, because they're just like, I don't know. There's just so much stigma against them. It's like, oh, you can't raise a boy because like there's two girls in the house. It's gonna be too much estrogen. His testosterone's not gonna go anywhere. And man, lesbian mothers get a lot of shit. Mothers in general get a lot of shit. I'm not even gonna seclude, like, just kind of give that secluded area of like lesbian mothers, but mothers in general get a lot of shit. They really do. Women in general get a lot of shit. Black women especially get a lot of shit. It's hard to be a woman. It's extremely hard to be a black woman. It's extremely hard. It's extremely harder to be a lesbian black woman. And on top of that, if you're a mother, it's extremely hard, because you're getting the shit end of a stick like every which way. So there's no solid way of doing anything. It's like, shit, the fuck is going on here? What are you doing? What am I doing? Why are you belittling me so much? So that, to be honest, guys, that ends that episode 8 part 2. This is the ending. I've been going on for a good 30 minutes. A lot of things were said here, so I'm gonna give you like the main points. Just kind of reiterate, earlier we discussed, I want to say about like the 12 minutes in, we discussed that, like, the comparison between I'm kind of getting to like the societal standards of like what a good mother is and what a bad mother is, kind of defining those two, and then kind of giving examples of each of them versus like maybe something else. I'm sorry, I'm like half asleep right now. So we gave like examples of both. I went on like a little mini rant about like how in the black community we seem to demonize a father for the shit that he does, but we never demonize a mother for the same things. So a bad father gets even a good father can get totally shat on because of the fact that he's a man and he's trying to do all he can for his children. But then a mother who blatantly doesn't give a fuck about the little children, treats them like they're little unwanted bastards. Nobody bats an eye. It's just like, oh, cool, she's all right. You ain't got to talk about that. No. Something we need to talk about, something we need to kind of discuss. I mean, sometimes, and I'll even admit it, sometimes you can't really get into the conversation like that because we don't know the situation. We don't know what may have happened, what could have led to this instance, and what could be the cause of it. We're on the outside looking in. What do we do? What do we do, y'all? on top of that, I kind of got into a brief discussion about how lesbian mothers are kind of, I want to say, mistreated almost because of like this double standard in the legal system, to where like one of you technically is considered the mother while the other one's just there. But hey, it is what it is. It is what it is. But if you made it to the end of this video, another glorious episode for your boy, from your boy, not for your boy, but from your boy, man. Thank you for the subscribers that have subscribed, for leaving likes, for the views and everything else. I'm going to be back again with it next week. I'm going to try to keep my schedule consistent, my upload schedule consistent. Things that happen in the work is going really fast. I'm going to try to at least record half of this stuff on like a Monday afternoon after I get off work, or maybe even a Tuesday morning or something like that, so that I can have this stuff ready for you guys on Friday morning, maybe even Friday afternoon, maybe Friday night. But we still going to be pushing it, man. I'm going to be sharing this to my Facebook. So for all my Facebook friends, go ahead and check it out, man. I know y'all niggas don't be having not a lot of shit to do when y'all at work. This is background noise. It's not like you have to watch the video. There's nothing on the screen for you to focus on. It's just you plug your headphones in. If you got time, go ahead, hit that play button and listen to your boy's voice. It gets a little nasally sometimes. Nigga, it's like borderline between like winter and spring right now, so my voice is gonna sound a little batshit crazy. But anyway, with that regards, next week's topic, I'm covering the fathers. Yes, man, I'm coming for you. Because so often that as men, we don't hold each other accountable, especially as black men. We don't hold each other accountable for the fuck ups and bullshit that we all do. So I'm coming for men. Yeah, I'm not a SJW. I'm not a feminist or whatever, but I'm coming for you because as a father, I need y'all to step y'all shit up. I need y'all to be there for these children. I need you to show them the right way of living, and that's not even like a skewed thing. I need you to show them that there's more to life than just the streets and hanging with a bunch of niggas and gang banging and shit like that. Like, we need to stop that. Like, niggas don't need this shit no more. What are you doing? There's ways to make money other than doing this quick buck shit. That's all I'm saying. But yeah, rolling into next week's episode, part 3, the final part on parenting, before we move on to the next topic. So next week we're going to cover fatherhood in its entirety, ranging from the black fathers here that are there for their children, black fathers who aren't there for their children, and again, ending off the conversation with same-sex parents, same-sex parents, 2 men, and raising a child. The stigma that goes along with that, not necessarily like the benefits, but the advantages to this, and just kind of, I can't even say there's like advantages over one over the other. So I'm not gonna say advantages, but the stigma that comes with it, and kind of breaking down what it actually looks like. Oh, sorry guys. Don't listen to that. That was me yawning. But anyway, man. And then for the topic for the week after next, which let me see what week that is. So what we're gonna do is give you like a full breakdown schedule type thing for the next couple weeks. As soon as I fucking find my calendar, I think I just need to get a calendar and get like a board. Nigga just got paid, but still broke his shit. I'm actually slow. The calendar's right in front of my face. Alright, so the 22nd is going to end off. March the 22nd is going to end off the discussion on parenting. And then on the 29th, we're picking right back up. And I really need this. Is some legit shit. We're picking right back up with topics on being a black nerd. I mean, it's kind of random how we're going, but after that, the 29th, we're having a conversation on black nerddom. I'm going to pull as many black nerds into this conversation as physically possible. And on that episode, we're going to talk about a lot. It's going to be probably an hour-long episode. It's not going to be one of those things. There's just going one and done takes. Nah, bro. It's going to be like full in-depth embodiment of what's going on and what the dumb shit is in this community and the stigma that follows with like black nerds and everything. And then on April the 5th, jumping right back into another topic regarding that, and that will be episode 10. And we're going to be doing what I want to say, maybe even like a live podcast from my school on like a Tuesday, 2-part. And yeah, on like a Tuesday, 2 parts, sitting there on Facebook Live. If you subscribe to me, I may drop my Facebook. I don't know. You can follow me on there too. But dropping my Facebook, I'm gonna be having like a live episode for that day. You know what I'm saying? Just that day. It's gonna be like on a Tuesday. It's gonna bring up the topics. We're gonna be asking questions in the chat. So definitely keep a heads up for that. I love you. If you subscribed and everything, if you view this video, you share it, I love you. Keep your head up, my brothers, my sisters, and above all else, stay black. Peace.